The people who were brought from Africa to Haiti, from the history you know, and you have visited Benin, their ancestors, is there any one of them whose ancestors has ever run a country?
No.
But you ask the French to give you a country to run.
Hi guys, so I've been wanting to react to this guy for a while, Frank Zanu. He is this really cool journalist, content creator from I think Benin, who lives in America, but he says some really wild stuff. A lot of which I agree with, some of which I'm like, I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence about, but I like his bravery and his boldness. So we're going to check out this one that he does on Haiti. My guy says, Haitians can never fix Haiti. So let's hear what he has to say.
Hello and welcome to ZPR, Zanu Project Rethink. My name is Frank Zanu. I have another guest in the studio today, somebody you might have seen. Nancy Forville, the project manager for the town of Milford, is here with me. Nancy has appeared on past shows and some of you know her face. And so I'm really, really happy to have Nancy. Nancy said she saw one of my episodes and just can't wait to point out what I missed about that episode. So she's in the studio with me. Nancy, welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Frank.
Yes, as usual, you're always the best guest we have here at ZPR. You said you watched the episode where I said no black nation would ever develop.
Right.
And you thought I missed a point on Haiti, especially.
Well, yeah.
Yo, I tell y'all, Frank to be saying some wild stuff, you know.
Haiti as the first black country, always had the potential to become a great nation. Unfortunately, at the start of its historical start, Haiti had a lot of debts to pay to France. And so I think that was definitely a substantial reason why it couldn't develop.
Oh, I see. I thought I read that in the note, but I didn't get it clear. Mm-hmm. Sure, I've heard this from many, many Haitians I've spoken to, that Haiti got independence from the French, but the French imposed a debt on them to pay. And that debt is what has prevented Haiti from becoming well-develed or wherever it believed it could have been. Is that not true? Okay, so...
That's definitely one of the reasons, yes.
Right. What I do is I try to collect as much as information to examine or review the claim or the conclusion carefully to see, does it hold water? And I will tell you right away that a lot of things I believe we have not considered. And that we've got stuck only on that one particular thing, which, if you ask me, is not true at all, has not played any role in making Haiti the way it is. And I can start by saying a few things that you need to consider.
Sure.
First, have you seen at all, do the Haitians have any point of reference, a blueprint, a role model country that they've seen, they know that based on them, Haitians, this is what they could have become? What is it that they thought they could have become rather than what they are?
Well, I think Haitians, the Haitians gained their independence from the French, right? So I think our emperor, Jacques Dessalines, was part of the Haitian, was part of the French army. So I believe he looked at...
It's funny that she put emperor in quotes here.
France as a blueprint for Haiti. So...
Isn't that a problem already in the first place? The people who colonize you are Europeans.
Are Europeans, yeah.
They have a different history, different language. Everything they built from their own language.
Yeah, but they colonized us.
Yeah.
And they showed us things.
They did?
Yeah.
Huh. Debt never makes a country poor. The United States alone is now $38 trillion. I think the largest debt the United States owes is to Japan, if not Germany, and then China. And then private financial institutions across the world and private companies. It's the biggest deadbeat dad in the world, the United States of America. 38 trillion. Remember when Elon was working, one of the things they were trying to do is to find a way to generate money to pay away this debt. A country doesn't own a debt to itself from its own debt. So when they say the United States is in debt 38 trillion, it means different companies, different institutions, and countries. So it's Japan, Germany, and China.
Right,
But that doesn't make a country poor. No, it doesn't in any shape or form. A country makes a deal to pay debt in any form you can do it. Okay? Number two, that debt was paid away more than 100 years ago. That is true. People have been repeating this statement over and over without telling people that whatever debt it was paid away more than 100 years ago.
Yeah, but it's billions of dollars that they could have used to reinvest in their countries, but they had to give it back to France.
No, that is not true. And that's what I keep saying, that debt never cripples any country. It doesn't. The United States have debt. When independence happened in Africa, by 1978, over 30 African countries had to be forgiven debt.
Okay.
They still haven't built. They got poorer more than when they had a debt.
So you're saying...
You're leading to something here, which is it's something I always observe too, which is it's a country's like socioeconomic condition is made up of just that social order as well, or disorder, as well as economics. So there's money that's a real thing. If you owe money, if your economy is not strong, if your labor force is not strong, if you've suffered natural disasters, if your industries are underdeveloped, those types of things are real. But there's also a social aspect as well, and I think this is probably what Frank is leaning towards. But let's see.
It doesn't matter whether or not we paid it or not.
By social, I mean culture and behavior. So I think that's what Frank is moving towards. Let's see.
We were gonna just be poor and be in poverty.
Yes, because I have plenty of evidence to show that.
Okay, so let's dive into it.
All right, so let's take a look at the Caribbean.
Okay.
The black countries in the Caribbean have one thing in common, which is all of you were brought from Africa as slaves, isn't it?
Okay.
And only you were poured either by the French, Spanish, English, or Dutch, different islands. So all of you arrived as slaves, which means all of you lost the same thing: culture, language, heritage, history, isn't it?
Sure.
Okay, show me a Caribbean country which didn't have the debt, and therefore because it didn't have the debt, it is now very, very, very well developed, as you said, to look like its former colonial country.
I don't have a particular country in mind.
No,
however,
let me repeat the question.
However, okay, go ahead. Repeat the question.
That's why I like you on the show. My evidence is very simple. I use many informations to inform and therefore be able to question a certain conclusion.
Sure.
The black countries in the Caribbean have one thing in common.
Yes.
Regardless when you got your independence, all of them were taken from Africa and poured in different islands.
Right.
They were colonized for a while.
Okay.
Then their colonials left.
Okay.
According to you, Haiti would have been like France if not for the debt. I agree with you.
Okay.
But then I want to shatter it, right? So I said, if that is the case, the remainder of the Caribbean black countries that are worse than Haiti but didn't have a debt. Why?
There's no Caribbean country right now that's worse than Haiti.
Well, you have violence and riot and those things. It's different shades, but I'm asking you. Asking you, which of the Caribbean countries has arrived at their dreamland of being developed like their former colonials because they didn't have a debt?
Okay, so I would say the Caribbean countries that got their independence after 1950s are still in good shape.
Which one has reached their dream standard of becoming like their former?
So let's look at the ABC countries. Let's look at Antigua. These are Turks and Caicos. These are countries that got their independence later. After.
I understand.
And they're all,
I am simply, all of them have passed the threshold of 25 years. Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, South Korea. 25 years, they are where they want to be. Everybody can see it clear. What I'm trying to say is a statement I'm refusing to make. I've been to the Caribbean, many countries, okay? They all share the same thing. That's it.
Right.
They are all not advanced, developed countries.
They are.
None of them has been able to attain the status of their former colonial country.
Oh, no, we can't say Turks and Caicos.
So I see where he's going, Well, no, I I think I see where he's going. I hope where he's going is what I said before, which is that there are multiple facets. So yes, it's true. There isn't a Caribbean country that has reached a grand stage of development. I mean, some are better off than others. Some have stronger economies than others, for sure. Uh, there's a lot of it also has to do, yes. Uh, our size is a big issue, right? Because we're small, so our production capacity can be limited in many cases. Um, and yeah, I mean, there's the delayed development. I think there's a lot of social order issues as well, that contribute to there's like poorer infrastructure planning and just general poor social structure in many cases. But there's also like economics too. When you have a hurricane blowing through every year, or like a half a dozen hurricanes might hit you every single year, it's it does cause some delays. I mean, look up Barbados last year got hit with a hurricane, and its entire fishing industry was wiped out. It's now having to rebuild that whole industry from scratch. So um, there's a number of factors. So I hope this is where he's going.
Caicos, Cayman Islands, Aruba.
The only
Look
place,
at these places. They're well
no.
developed.
The places you're talking about are highly occupied by Western companies and rich men. Like
True, I was gonna say
my
that,
guest
yeah.
earlier was telling me,
And also the ABCs. The ABCs are Dutch. They're still Dutch. They're not independent.
Antigua.
Yeah.
Antigua is
English,
only
the Dutch.
Antigua is able to function today because almost 90% of the economy and everything in Antigua is owned by foreigners.
I see.
Same with
But
same with Bahamas.
okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Any of the countries you're
Same with Turks and Caicos.
going to mention, it's because of the tourist attraction that have made retirees from the United States, Australia, England buy homes and maintain things, restaurants, resort centers, hotels. That's what has made those places look a little different. Number two, you take Guadeloupe, for example. They were sensible enough to say, look, we don't have what it takes to build any country. We will remain to be part of France, and they will help us. And that's why Guadeloupe has retained a certain level of peace.
But right now, Martinique, Guadeloupe are struggling. They don't want to be part of the metropole.
That's correct. They're all trying to make the same mistake. So we've seen now that...
Mistake. So you're saying if they leave, they won't be able to maintain?
No. They will not be able. Guadeloupe is this relatively peaceful. I've met many of them because they were sensible enough to remain with France.
Sensible.
Yes.
So, okay.
Yes.
Sensible, saying that we don't want independence. Please take care of us.
Yes.
I mean, it's this is the thing that is triggering for a lot of people, but he has some point, because there are, like, for instance, Saint Martin is French and Dutch, and I can tell you, because I have family who live in Saint Martin. I have many friends who live in Saint Martin. I know that they experience a great deal of opportunity because of their what do you call it, status as being a French territory. They have a lot of economic opportunities simply just by being French. So it's very uncomfortable for lots of people, but I see where he's coming from.
We will come to the word independence. You will see. Number two, let me ask you, what did they bring the slaves to do in Haiti?
To sharecrop, not sharecrop, but to farm and to
sugarcane and banana
sugarcane,
plantations.
yeah.
So if they were brought to farm sugarcane and banana plantations, what type of people do you think they brought from Africa? Technocrats? Lawyers, engineers?
No.
Who did they bring?
People who can work the land.
Yeah, deep rural people, right? They took a bunch of deep rural people from Africa, piled them on a ship, brought them to Haiti.
But I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know what type of slaves.
Yes, I know.
You know what type of slaves?
When they were buying slaves from Africa, there were no engineers, there were no lawyers, there were no medical officers, there were no technicians, there was nothing.
So
no one can even use a screwdriver. Nothing was built in Africa. Nothing in the name of modern day infrastructure. Zero. So the people they brought, Africa was known for only three industries. You know it. You've been to Benin. Africa was known for farming, fishing, hunting.
Okay.
So slaves that were bought from Africa to the United States was to farm, because that's what they were doing when they went there.
Okay.
So the ones brought to the Caribbean, they went and they look at people who can withstand the sun and the heat and work long hours on the farm. That's what they brought to the Caribbean.
So
that's
the
what they
Europeans
brought to
didn't just go and capture them. They actually were sold legitly. I don't know. I don't know how the slave trade. The only thing I know about. Go ahead.
However the slaves were sold, whoever you close your eyes and capture in Africa is a farmer, a fisherman, or a hunter.
At that time.
At that time.
Okay.
That's it.
That we can revisit. I don't know the whole.
Listen, I'm telling you, whatever we call infrastructure in Africa today, in the body, was there because of colonials.
Okay.
Aqueducts, water systems to come through houses, hotels, hospitals, schools. You think that Africans imported materials with what currency? There was nothing. And this is what is wrong with Western education, that people don't understand the history of these places.
I thought Africans.
He has a point. Even the Arabs did some minor development throughout the Sahara, largely to facilitate their slave trade. But yeah, he's coming from somewhere. He's warm. Definitely warm.
Africans had currency. I thought they had a currency.
No black country in the world has ever created a currency
Of its own.
of its own. Trade by barter. Were you not taught in school?
Yes, I was. Yes.
So trade by barter is
But I
what?
thought they had their own African coins that they.
No, never.
That they.
No, you need to have an industry to do that. Where did we mint those coins? Enough. What kind of currency? Currency is only when you are trading between two foreign countries from our way. So taxes are paid to the one who has the currency. No African country has what is called today modern day currency.
Okay.
So we were engaged in trade by barter. And then later on, Dahomey became the first, if I'm not mistaken, to use cowries. So you can count. You know cowries, the one they use for making art. That is the first currency.
Okay.
But limited to only about 3 tribes in West Africa.
Okay.
That's it. That is why, after independence, all the English countries in Africa, they had the queen's head on the money.
So what were we bartering for the slaves? Were we capturing them ourselves?
Horses
were we
and all
selling
sorts
them
of
ourselves?
Some, because
All
there were
sorts of things.
Africa.
The earliest Africans were trading slaves for horses from the Arabs.
Started evolving with tribal wars.
Okay.
And you must understand, even though the only thing African tribes have in common is skin color.
Okay.
Once you go to this tribe, it's a different language, different religion, different everything, food,
Culture,
everything.
okay.
It's like you've been to China and France. Except they were in the same region. Let people get this picture clear. It was a continent with only tribes. There was no republics. There were no countries. Modern day concept of what country means. There were no formal boundaries and borders.
So let's talk about
Tribes.
Benin itself.
Yes.
How many tribes do you think were in Benin at that time?
About 50.
50 different tribes.
Yeah, or more, because
Or
some
even
of them
more.
now were bought into Togo when the artificial lines were drawn. Some are into, but you can't say Benin because there was no Benin. You can say the region. You see what I mean?
I see.
It was a region that stretched all the way from the Nile River in Nigeria all the way to Ghana.
I understand.
Just a region. There's no name for anybody. There was nothing like Benin, Nigeria, Ghana. No.
But there was a concept of Dahomey.
That's correct. That's a tribe.
Ah.
Agbome became Dahomey. That's one tribe of very brutal guys with pot belly, married 200 wives, and they call them chiefs. And they were trying
Or kingdoms.
the foreigners named it kingdom because that is the only word they know from where they were coming from Europe. But there was no kingdom. We're not kingdoms. It's any pot-belly guy married many women with his family beating the other small tribes, and they were describing them based only on the word they know. The Europeans say, "Oh, this people's kingdom." It was only chiefs. We never had kings in Africa.
I understand.
You understand?
Damn, bro. Do you see? I tell y'all, Zanu will be saying some things because that is not the narrative that people like to go with right now. The narrative, especially with like the reggae and Rasta movement and the Back to Africa, the Pan-African movement and stuff, is that we were kings and queens in Africa. That's what people started to believe in, and I think a lot of people think that there is some utility in this belief. Well, yeah. So there's some utility in this belief, but also there's some utility in disbelief because yeah, I mean, it we kind of bought that without really questioning it. I mean, I would have to really look into that, but I think there's some validity to what he's saying. The fact that the idea of kingship and queens and stuff is more of a foreign identifier. That's interesting. That's interesting. I mean, a powerful chief. I mean, there were large. I would say kingdoms because like you had or empires. You had like the Mali and the Songhai and Ghana. These were like really powerful regions. So what do you call the rulers of those regions? I mean, why not call them kings? You know, if the Africans called them chief, the chief of the chief of all the chiefs, isn't that basically the king? I mean, I'm not sure if it seems like a distinction without a difference, but I get where he's coming from, which is that, and he's right. Ultimately, the point is that there really was no unifying factor in Africa at all. This idea that Africa is this homogeneous entity held together by racial consciousness, that skin color, that we're all black people, therefore we're one people. This is a very, very, very modern concept. This is not something that existed in Africa at all, at the point of contact with Europe or the Arab world, you know. So he is so I think that's an important perspective that we need to start introducing into the conversation. And actually, it's part of it's one of the big reasons Africa was able to be subjugated in the first place, was able to be exploited in the first place, because Europe, both Europe and the Islamic sort of caliphate, right? The Islamic empire, both of them were held together by, well, not together, but I mean each separately. Both of them fell under the umbrella of religion. So Europe was the Catholic, the papacy, Christianity, and the Islams were, this is the Muslim religion. And in both of those religions, I mean, certainly in the Islamic empire, the rule was that you could not enslave a brother Muslim. So even though people were from different ethnicities and countries and spoke different languages, if they all fell under this Islamic caliphate, they were all Muslims. Therefore, they were brothers through their religion and could not enslave each other. So they had to go. They went to Africa to find the slaves, to find their slave class. Europe fell under, even though Europe was made up of many different countries, right? They were held together by Catholicism. So when the Pope says issues some edict or whatever it is, they all follow it. They all fall under that banner, even though it's different kings and stuff like that in Europe. So, and even though they fought against each other, there was this one unifying factor. So the fact that when both Europe and the Arabs came to the African continent and found no such unifying factor at all, in fact, all they found was perforation. All they found was tribes and regions and nations fighting against each other constantly and capturing each other and having no problem selling. Yo, sure. Oh, hey, you guys have some horses? What do you want? You want? I'll sell you those guys over the hill right there. No problem. In fact, I'll sell you the guys over the hill, and I'll sell you the guys down in that valley as well if you could capture them. Come back next year and I'll have some more for you. And that's what it was. So it's a really important point here to make, and it's a nuanced part of the rhetoric that is just not very popular, and I guess I can see why, because it sort of knocks the wind out of a lot of the Pan-African a movement, I guess, and the sort of the African pride and this idea that Africa is one people, and even this idea that they were selling their own people. Whenever I hear people say, I'm like, no, they were not selling their own people. They were selling the guys over the hill who had different tribal markings and spoke a different language and had different gods and were completely different in every possible way, except for skin color, which didn't matter to them. So, yeah.
All right. So the point I'm making is they came to an area which was a region, no countries. Nobody was bought from a country. So because of the tribal wars, Agbome beat all the smaller tribes so they can absorb them for assimilation so they can grow bigger.
I see.
The Zulus did it. The English did it. Chinese did it. The bigger you can absorb people, then you become stronger economically, militarily, and on and on. You understand?
Yes.
So every tribe, the bigger ones who are bullies, the Yorubas did it to smaller tribes. The Agbome, not the whole, did it to smaller tribes. The smaller tribes became happy when colonization happened because that was the only time the bullying stopped and
So
they were all
protected.
forced to become countries. So I'm saying to you, when Agbome fought little tribes and absorbed the people,
That's fascinating because look at like what happened in what was it, Zimbabwe or Rwanda, wherever, the Hutu and the Hutu and the Tutsis. I mean, these are like, to the international community, these are people who look exactly alike. Nobody can tell the difference except them. And I mean, this is centuries and centuries and centuries of warfare. And even though they're in the same country, they still can't get along. I mean, this is why, because they were never meant to get along.
they can sell them to the Portuguese and collect whiskey, collect gunpowder.
Okay.
So when people are saying you sold your own people, it's a lie.
There you go,
If war
Frank.
breaks out
That's it.
in
They were not
Europe
their own people.
and Italians captured Russians, they are all Caucasians, isn't it?
Yeah,
Or the English
but they're not
captured
their own
Italians, they are Caucasians,
Yeah.
and sold them away to the Chinese. Have the English sold their own people?
No.
Exactly. That's what happened in Africa. Tribes who looked different from another tribe, spoke different language, captured each other and sold. They didn't sell each other.
For the intent of slavery of what we know now.
Yes.
Of the impacts of it. It's not
They
like
didn't know where they were taken to, but as long as we captured them in war, and you've promised to give me a mirror, you've promised to give
because
me...
you're my slave, I can.
Yes, I can give you to anybody I want.
This is just a trade.
That's correct. Okay?
Yeah.
So you must understand what they were buying.
So that was the currency. That was their currency. Their currency was slaves, was other people.
They were buying very, very uncivilized people at the time. There was no modern day infrastructure. They have never seen anything. Fishermen, farmers, and hunters.
But
That's
when you're
it.
saying uncivilized to the Western folk.
They don't have universal
you're-
I knew she was going to say that. I could see the look in her face when he said that.
concept. Yes.
Okay, because
If you
you're
don't-
kind of sounding like they're barbaric people from the jump. They're not.
That's what he wants to say. Yeah.
Whatever you want to describe it. I'm just trying to give you a picture so you can understand why it was so easy for the Europeans to say, these are the people we will take away. You got to look at their condition and
Yeah.
ask yourself, can these people really work and leave? So what I'm describing, it has to be severe for you to understand why they brought them to do the farming. They got to find them in a condition that they know only people in that condition will survive in farms in another tropical region, which is the Caribbean.
So these are the farmland people who are distributed all throughout the Caribbean,
That's correct.
Haiti.
Yes. There were no technocrats in Africa. There were no engineers, doctors, painters, dancers, and stuff like that. Everybody was either a farmer, a fisherman, or a hunter.
Nah, they had dancers now. Come on, Frank. Don't do that. They were dancing in Africa, Frank. Don't do that. Come on.
So these people, they took into a ship and brought to Haiti and held them by the Spanish as slaves, and then later on sold together with the country to the French.
Okay.
And the only time Haitians would begin to read and write was when they were colonized by the French, because the French have to build schools for them.
Okay.
So can you ask yourself, how long ago did the Haitians begin to speak French?
They started speaking French.
When the first school was built. It was built only so that you can educate the slaves enough for them to understand instruction.
Okay.
They did not put them in school to teach them business administration, medicine, nothing like that. Same as it was going on in the continent of Africa.
That's a hell of a point. Boy.
The reason the colonials introduced their language to be taught, because they wanted the locals to understand instruction, to do basic duties.
Right.
So that is what they taught Haitians. And you think you can take the country from the French and use the 1/4 English or French they've taught you to run the country. Let me ask you, what were Haitians speaking when they arrived in Haiti?
Everything.
African dialects.
Of different kinds.
Of different kinds.
That's why they developed Creole. How old is Creole?
I would say Creole's about
20 years most.
No, actually no, maybe 200 years.
Okay, so it's a language very limited in nature.
Very limited? Yes.
Okay.
Yes and no at the same.
So
yes.
for any place to be functional, you need industrialization for the place to be functional. Industrialization requires innovation. Is that not correct?
Yes, but I believe Haitians can.
I understand. I am saying industrialization requires innovation.
Yes.
Innovation requires language.
Yes.
So in what language do Haitians innovate?
We would innovate in Creole.
Creole?
Well, currently, we innovate in French. Like we
French.
write things down in.
You innovate in French. So what local innovations do we have in Haiti?
Yo, Frank is a savage. Frank is like, you innovate in French, you innovate at all.
Well, we would innovate anything that is done on a business level, which would be what we considered innovation level.
No, that's not innovation. That is a medium of communication. Business level, in service industry. I'm asking.
So in service industry,
real innovation.
What have you made? What have you invented?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So in all of our service industry, we speak French.
Okay.
Whether it's in politics, whether it's business.
Name one or two things you believe that is a local innovation by Haitians using French and is now being exported worldwide.
We don't have anything.
You don't have
Not
any.
that I know of.
That's correct. Number two, the people who were brought from Africa to Haiti, from the history you know, and you have visited Benin, their ancestors, is there any one of them whose ancestors has ever run a country?
No.
But you ask the French to give you a country to run. And you're surprised
because
now.
we didn't want to be slaves anymore.
I understand. That is not the point I'm trying to make. I'm just trying to point to you the number of informations I've collected to understand why Haiti will be the way it is. Nothing is wrong with it. It's bound to be this way. Number one, none of the slaves that were brought from Africa has ever witnessed, experienced, or understand how to run a country, because no ancestor in Africa has ever run a country. Right. They have led tribes in a very customary level.
Okay.
It's very interesting that he's pointing this out because you know, if you know any, I mean, I don't know where you're watching this from, but if you know any Caribbean person, doesn't matter what Caribbean country they're from, ask them one word to describe what their politics is like. And the word that they're going to use is tribal. Every single Caribbean country will tell you, oh yeah, politics, yeah, super tribal. And what we mean by that is very much like the Hutus and the Tutsis or whatever, right? It's always this one side or the other. It's very vicious. When one side is in power, you completely eliminate the other side. You completely fight down everybody else on the other side. Every single thing comes down to that. Even outside of an election season, even when something has nothing at all to do with politics, even when something is not a political decision at all, people will bring what side of politics somebody is on into that decision and make it that way, because we just have a tribal nature, this thing of us versus them. It's not about country. It's more so we don't necessarily identify so much as a country, right? We're more likely to identify as some subset within that country, hence tribalism. So it's very interesting that he's pointing this out, because it's like, well, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I guess where that comes from.
But now you are brought to a place that has been organized to imitate the colonials with infrastructure, schools, roads, you name it. And you ask that to be given to you because you can run it.
Yeah, at the time,
With what?
I don't think we believed at the time that we could run it.
No,
I think the
You
goal
did. No,
was
you
to just
believe.
be free. We were done with slavery. We were just done with it.
So,
But it's not.
So if
But you're
you
right.
knew-
Did
yeah.
we know that we can actually run a country, maintain things, and set policy, and think of the future? No, I think
This is the social order stuff that he's talking
we
about.
were just so stuck on just being free from the.
I understand.
From our colonial.
Yes, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you guys making up excuses to the way you are? You just said
Why
it.
are we making
You knew you couldn't have run a country.
Damn, Frank. Woo! Frank. Yeah. Go easy on them, Frank. Jano.
Because you've never run a country. Running a country is not simply a group of citizens living in a place and somebody says good morning and sing national anthem. It's a very complex, culturally based. The platform, the foundation has to be there culturally.
Right.
For you to have a political system on that culture, to have a religion, a language, you name it, a history that is one, uniform to everyone that is there, and acceptable and understood, recognized by everyone. You don't have any of these things. Wait, you just emotionally begged for a country to be given to you.
I am agreeing with you because our forefathers, yes, we gained the independence, but also I feel like we were also writing it all, creating it all in our heads. And it was just, we got our independence too early. We weren't prepared for it.
ultimately,
And nor
yeah.
did we know how to maintain or even take care of a country or even know how to set it in stone
Um,
I'm just saying.
yeah.
Then why are you making excuses?
And it's funny because when you think of the other Caribbean countries that gained their independence, let's say in the 60s, right? The typical protocol was, and in many ways still is, that even though we are independent, there's still a heavy reliance on support and guidance and some sort of oversight from the mother colony, right? So in many of the English-speaking Caribbean countries, the Privy Council in England is still the final court of appeal. So you could push a case as far as you possibly can within that Caribbean country. Eventually, like once you push it to that limit, you have to take it to England, and they have to decide it, because it's like we just were not able to come to a final decision here. So that's just an example of it. So there's a lot of hand holding. I mean, we maintained a lot of the institutions, the education system, the police system. I mean, the prison in many countries is called Her Majesty's Prison, right? And we basically mimicked all of the protocols and the behaviors of the colonial system in our own. So we didn't develop our own thing. We just sort of, we had our hand held for a little bit and mimicked what we saw other people do. Haiti did, I guess, something different. Haiti's independence was gained in a much more abrupt manner, without any preparation, any diplomacy, without any real negotiation. In fact, when France showed up, I think like 20 something years later, with a whole fleet armed to the teeth to say, yo, y'all need to pay us this debt or we're gonna shoot the shit out of you. Right? So there was no diplomacy, there was nothing like that. It was just pure. I mean, Haiti just was the rebellious, suffering, prodigal child of the French Empire, I guess, and it suffered the alienation that goes along with that. And I'm not saying, oh, they deserve it or anything. No, it's kind of is just what it is. You can't really expect anything different. I mean, Frank is cooking. He's a little hot, but he's cooking.
Uses for why you are the way you are. Debt never causes a place to be dirty.
Yeah.
Basic maintenance of cleaning a street, a city, a town. Debt doesn't cause people to kill each other. No, it doesn't.
No, I'm just thinking.
Okay. I am trying to pack for you a lot. Now, what I am
Got a point.
explaining about Haiti goes for every single black Caribbean country too. They also did the same thing. They asked for countries to run they have never run before. What I'm explaining about Haiti has to do with every single African country. Nobody in Africa, at least sub-Saharan Africa, whose great grandfathers have ever seen a country with their eyes, let alone manage, administer, run it. None has ever created a political system that is authentic to the people who live in it. None. None. We don't have the concept of political systems. We don't have the concept of economic systems. Yet, colonials came to build a country within a short time, install it the same way they know from where they came from. The buses, the bus stops, the roads, clinics, schools, churches, all these they build. But you foolishly ask them to give you something you don't know how to run. It reminds me of an analogy I have created and I keep using.
And that is?
A guy came with an airplane big enough to take 400 people.
Okay.
Took natives from a land into the plane.
Okay.
The people managed to jump the pilot, the co-pilot, and the junior engineer, kill them all.
Why did they do that?
They want to be free, like you said. Haitians were
So
struggling
why
to be
did they
free.
do
That's
that?
all. All we care is to be free.
Okay.
So now they've killed the pilot, the co-pilot, and the engineer.
Okay.
Only then they turn around and said,
We don't know how to
does
fly the
anybody know
plane.
how to fly this thing?
Exactly.
Okay.
Nobody knows how to fly that thing. I
Right.
say.
I'm not laughing. I hope you're.
I mean, listen, Frank. A lot of people are not gonna like what you're saying, and I mean, as a Caribbean person, yeah, it's uncomfortable to hear these things, but you're not telling any lies, man. It's true. I mean, the Caribbean countries are notoriously corrupt and unserious and sort of wayward and misguided. It's not. I mean, the best of us have only been able to just about manage the most sort of basic welfare systems and institutions, education, healthcare, some degree of security, law and order, diplomatic relationships with other countries, which, you know, we're constantly fumbling that ball as well. The best of us have been able to build some type of what do you call it? Functional economy, but even so, in the best cases, like these economies are not sustainable. Like tourism, for instance. I mean, it's true. He's not wrong here.
Audience forgives me. I'm not laughing because it's a funny joke, but it is a very good analogy to the point where it's the truth, and that's why I laughed. So
Yes.
I hope your audience
I understand.
doesn't.
And it's
You see, she knows because people are sensitive. People are like, we are very sensitive. We don't like to talk about these things in a realistic way. You know, whenever like Haiti's another thing right now. There's a whole issue with my country rejecting Haitian deportees from America, and everybody's saying, oh, you know, Haiti, how dare you reject Haiti, because Haiti, we're the first free country and we beat France and we're responsible for why everybody else is from. I'm like, what are you talking about? How, where? Haiti looks like a winner to you? What did Haiti win? How did they win? What winner looks like that? I don't understand. I've never seen a winner look like that before. I ain't never seen no winner of anything in the state that Haiti is in. That does not look like a winning state. How did you win? How did you win $150 million in debt? Explain how that was a win. How did you win $150 million of debt? If you win, I don't owe you. If you and I fight, and I win, I don't owe you anything. You owe me. How about that? How about that? How did they win? Look at the state that Haiti is in. When has Haiti ever been able to stand on one leg? At what point? Post 1804. When have they ever been stable, even for 5 minutes? What was the win? So it's like, we have these delusions that we like to talk about, and when the truth is presented to us, we get upset and we get whatever. It's like, no, like tell the truth so that you could start rebuilding and making clear-eyed decisions rather than just fumbling around in La La Land or something. Like, come on.
This for me I'm from Benin Republic. I'm an African as it can get. Anybody can say anything they like. I'm trying to. No. This is what has delayed, quote, our development. And children are dying. Women are dying from curable disease. Women are dying at birth, giving
Starvation.
birth. Starvation, wickedness, violence. And it has degraded us to the point that when we travel outside, people look down upon us because no one is willing to ask the hard questions to the answers we've been giving. So, African leaders got independence. Within 3 years, they recognized, oh shoot, we don't know how to fly this plane. But as it is about Africans, ego is far bigger than intellect. They couldn't confess to the masses. So do you know what they did? They coined a term immediately and said, guess what? We got independence from colonials, but there is neo-colonization going on. They didn't leave. They are still lurching in the dark. So the word neo-colonization began to grow from one person to the other, and now everybody is using it, saying the reason Africa is still the way it is because of neo-colonization. There is no such thing. Nkrumah created that when he knew after 3 years, he doesn't know what he asked for. Same with you, same with every black country. I repeat.
Bro, why you say it like that?
No sub-Saharan citizen's father, great-great-grandfather has ever had the concept and run the country. Never. A country is not just a place full of human beings. Complex. But the people have to have a uniform culture to form the foundation, followed by a uniform language, a uniform heritage, ethnicity, history,
and
everything.
Haiti doesn't have that.
And then have to proclaim, we the people, this is what we want to preserve. None of you, both on the mothership, which is Africa, and in the Caribbean, you made your boogeyman to be debt. The Jamaicans made the Babylonian system to be the reason. South Africans made apartheid to be their reason. West Africans made neo-colonization to be their reason. Black Americans made racism to be their reason. But when you look around, every one of us uniformly are in the same condition because you ask for something you don't have any clue how to run it. Number 3, what is your role model country you've seen for black country that didn't have the debt with France? In Africa? In UK blacks? In the United States? That you say, you see, this ones here didn't have the debt. See how they have grown to what we want to be. So which one are you guys going for?
Not one country in Africa, because they're all in the development state.
So which one is your role model country?
She's so nice. They're all in the development states.
That is the inspiration as to self-determination. This is the destination we want to be. But you see, our debt is only... What I'm asking the Haitians is, what is it you're pointing to that you thought in your head you could be? Give me the picture of what Haiti could have looked like without a debt.
Any developed Western country. Even though we don't know how to create it, we want that.
Oh, that's what you need. Okay. So when you get independence from the French, which is not
Frank is a bad man,
independent. They say the word. I don't like the word. The word doesn't make sense at all.
What would you call it then?
Freedom. Independence means that I voluntarily decided to depend on you as a parasite for me to be able to do something. So after a while, I'll say, look, I want to be independent. A child can say to the parents, Dad, I want to be independent of you. Okay?
So I plan to move out, pay my own bills.
That's independence. What we gained was not independence. We were not depending on them. They came and took us and used us to build our countries in a way that can benefit them. That is not dependence.
That's just freedom. Freedom
That's correct.
to just no longer be a
Exploitation.
slave.
Yes, you were
But
This is interesting. He makes a point in that same analogy because yeah, if you move out of your parents' house, but they're still paying your rent and your food and your grocery bill and your laundry and everything like that, you're not independent. You're just sort of free of them. You're just on your own. But yeah, he makes a good point.
colonized.
we will like to stay here because we don't know how to get back, or
And even the ones in Africa decided that they will just remain the structure that has been created artificially for them. They will run it. They thought they could run it just like you thought you could run it. Now, let me tell you why we fought for independence. No African country or black country would have ever have fought for independence if the Europeans who colonized us did not develop the place up to the level they did.
right? What would be the point?
What would be the point? That's correct.
It's just land,
Yes,
undeveloped land.
that's correct.
Interesting.
You see,
I don't know that I agree with that entirely because part of the fight for independence or freedom was also the treatment that was being meted out by the Europeans, right? If the Europeans were cruel and abusive and exploitative, and they pushed people beyond reasonable human limits. So a big part of the pushback, certainly in Haiti, was a retaliation. It wasn't even. I mean, you could to clarify Frank's argument a bit more. I would say the Haitian Revolution was less about an endeavor towards independence, but more about a retaliation from the brutality of slavery at the time. That's I think more fair, and then you can say it was not thought out much further beyond that, and here we see no, you're sort of left with, like you say, a plane that you don't know how to fly.
Oh my God.
you were foolishly envious and thought, and so Zimbabwe, when
And in Haiti's case, to be fair, it's very much like you have a plane that you don't know how to fly, but also the enemy is constantly shooting at the plane, and the wings have been shot off, and the engine is leaking fuel, and it's chaos from the outside and the inside as well.
when Mugabe got independence, okay, he knew that what was making the country rich was commercial farming. The British who were there were engaged in humongous commercial farming, created jobs for many people. All the industries were in Zimbabwe, owned by the whites. He believed and thought, if I take all that and give it to my people, then Zimbabweans, the black-skinned Zimbabweans, will be rich.
Same thing.
So
Idi Amin did the same thing.
took everything. Some of the whites,
He took it away from the
whites.
Oh wow.
Whites, yes.
Okay.
Some of them ran away to England. Some of them stayed, and he ran the country down completely.
Yes. Same. Idi Amin did the same thing. He ran out all the Indians, took all of their property, just complete, government takeover. And I think within a decade, everything that he had taken was completely run down, totally run down. I mean, people were living in abject poverty, and people that he expelled, right, who had to, the Indians who he expelled, who had to flee to England within that same decade, had prospered again. So it's like, what are you saying,
Because the natives could not maintain and manage what the white people built that was generating economy. Followed in 1977, anything you see in Uganda, starting with pharmacy, drugs,
Idi Amin, there you go.
laundromat,
Okay.
restaurant,
Idi Amin.
transportation,
Same
all
thing.
these largely owned by Indians.
There you go.
Who were indentured slaves and lived in Uganda and became more like one of the tribes,
Frank,
right?
yo, me and you need to have a beer. We have the same references.
Idi
This is
Amin
crazy.
thought, if I can take all
I swear I did not know Frank was going to talk about this.
All
He
the-
just reminded me of it when he talked
their
about
stores and give them owned by Indians who were indentured slaves and lived in Uganda and became more like one of the tribes, right? Idi
I
Amin
didn't know that they were indentured slaves.
thought, if I can take all their stores and give it to my people, it will raise my people to this. So he did. He gave them 48 hours or 2 weeks to leave Uganda. After 5 generations, they don't belong to India. They don't even speak Indian language. He kicked them all out.
Okay. And
So-
where did they go?
Kenya,
Different places.
UK took a lot of them.
England, yeah.
They spread.
Okay.
Today, all those Indians are all millionaires wherever they went to. Uganda, not a single thing the Indians left behind. It all
Crumbled. Gone.
Shattered, okay.
Gone.
And I can mention countries in Africa that did the same thing. Togo was one of them. Benin was another one that took things and nationalized it.
Yeah.
And the country would die.
Same thing happened in my country. Same thing happened in many other Caribbean countries too. After they took over the plantation industries, all of the sugar factories and the train lines and all of the engines and the steam engines, everything like that, all of those, they're all completely run down now. They're all gone. No use. Like zero. Nothing. Rust.
This is what I'm trying to explain. Nothing, and it's not true. And you are very well educated. You manage a whole town. You got to start telling your children a different story from we paid debt to the French and that's why we are poor. It's not true. There are too many things that happened to slaves that were taken from a place that has not seen industry, ever seen industry. And then suddenly, within just a couple of hundred of years, believe that in the French, first started by the Spanish and then the French, what they imported from their place to build on this island and just have you, your hands are all they needed to pluck bananas and cut sugar cane and then say yes sir and drive his wife if you're lucky. You are asking them to leave these things in your hands, yet you did not ask, can we? So you are now stuck in the airplane. There is a solution. You know that.
I'm
What
very
do you
curious about this.
think the people in the plane should do in order to take off and go to their destination? Since now you've killed the pilots and none of you know how to fly.
You need to find
What
a
should they
pilot
do?
fast.
They already killed the pilot, though.
Yes, everybody. So if they want the plane to take off to go to the destination they are hoping, what should they
You
do?
need to find a pilot.
But you said they already killed the pilot.
Yes, but there is only,
Find
the
somebody
pilots
who
are from a
knows how to
certain
do it.
And they're already
country.
flying?
No, the pilots are from a certain country
Okay.
that knows how to pilot planes.
Oh, call them.
Yes, send somebody to have, right? Those who know how to pilot from the country where the pilots came from to come and take you off to your destination. That's all Haiti need to do. And Haiti will
Just
become
like what the DR is doing.
Haiti will become the Dubai of Caribbean within 15 years.
But they still need to have a plan in
No,
place. They
you
still
don't.
need to understand.
They don't have what it takes to have a plan, I'm telling you.
They don't have what it takes.
No, they don't have. They have never done it before. Where do you think it will
So
come
you need.
from?
So basically, call the experts, call the think tank, so that they can come in and
Look,
implement.
I am being very honest.
The issue here, it's funny. Frank is, yeah, boy, Frank. Woo! Your name is Frank for a reason. I believe in there's this thing called nominative determinism, which is this idea that what you're called, like what your name is it determines, your name can have an effect on the type of person that you are. And it's like somebody named Baker might be a baker, or somebody named Bolt might be the fastest man in the world, for instance. Frank is living up to his name, and he's very frank. He's very much like that's what it is. That they don't have the capacity to. I mean, if they had the capacity to, they would have demonstrated it by now, I guess. Like to his point. It's funny because this foreign intervention has happened many times in Haiti, but it's in every case has always been to the detriment of the Haitians. But I think the issue is that it's never been on the Haitians' own terms. It's always been somebody from the outside going, oh, let me go in and help Haiti. And they go in, and what they do is that they help themselves to all of its resources, to people, all sorts of things. So that's never worked out. What Frank is saying is, I guess the ideal would be for the people to become organized of mind enough that they can say, listen, we need to set our own agenda and decide, okay, let's actually bring some people from whatever on our own terms, and we decide, we control, we police, we whatever, we set a certain organization, but we bring people in to actually help run the most important institutions. I mean, it's interesting because, like, for instance, so typically what's happening in many Caribbean countries is the commissioner of police, which is one of the top positions in the country, has been held by that position has been held by somebody who is from overseas, so from Ireland or England or America or somewhere, and so maybe that's the wisdom behind that Frank is suggesting.
With you, okay?
No, I'm asking.
Many countries have done it. And Haiti and most of the black countries have to begin to think about it. It is clear to you now, but ego is what is stopping them. You cannot develop this place. Zero, you don't. All the things I said is wrong. From the people who were brought from Africa already, from that route, you're not going to get anything because, one, you don't have a language. You have never written a language. You don't have an alphabet.
We do have a language.
No,
the
you
language
don't.
is Creole.
A language is a transferable medium of exchange between people.
Yes, we are able to do that.
With whom outside in Asia do you speak Creole?
Oh, there's a lot of people outside of Haiti who speak Creole.
I am asking you, if
Who
you
can
go
I
to
speak?
Japan, Japanese have a dictionary for Creole that you and Japanese can trade in Creole.
There is a Creole dictionary.
I am asking you, do Japanese rely to trade? Creole is not an international language, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Yes, it is.
It is not. Please don't argue with me.
No.
No black country is do you know what an international language is?
Yeah, a language that is spoken by a certain group of people. That's an international language.
That's not an international language, honey.
That is not true.
What is the international language then?
International language should be the ones that are transferable.
Yeah.
That is why
Creole is.
Many people, many different countries speak the language, honey. Not just some people in a country, but it's spoken by multiple different. That's what makes it international.
Transferable.
You're not asking questions, and this is what my problem is.
Okay, so why is it that
how many countries speak Haitian Creole?
I can go on on the U.S. government website there, and then I want it to be if I want a document in Creole, they already have it translated for you in Creole.
That is not what a transferable language is. That is not international language. That is
So-
not.
He's saying that's an accommodation that they're making for your language, but it's not. It doesn't make it.
International
When the
languages.
Chinese come to trade when the Chinese come to trade in Haiti and they want to speak to a person who speaks Creole, they have it. They can
French.
do that.
They will speak to
No.
somebody who speaks
They
French.
have some. They teach Creole in
Your
in the
language
schools.
is
They
French.
teach Creole in
I
schools. They have
understand.
dictionaries. So you're saying Creole is not? Yes, it is.
It is not. Please look up what makes an international language. If you're going to work with the United Nations, they ask you in the interview. Even in school, in colleges, when they say you are required to take one international language as what is it called? A requirement.
Yes.
We know what languages they're talking about. It doesn't include Twi, Ga, Ashanti, Beni language, Togo, Yoruba. No, it doesn't. So why would you say your Creole does?
These are English, French, Spanish, maybe Chinese. I don't even know if German is considered an international language, because who else speaks German but Germans?
Please, let me explain one more time. I don't want to waste my time. You don't want to listen
Sure.
to me. I have worked in that.
We can look that up later
Yes,
on.
we have.
Sure.
I've worked in that environment, and I know what I'm talking about. When they say you must take a language in college as a requirement, they don't say take Yoruba. They don't say take Igbo. They don't say
Yes,
take
but
because they don't consider them international languages.
Most universities consider Latin languages,
Different
romantic
I
Latin
didn't make the
languages.
rule. I'm just telling you what is there.
Yes, but that does not mean that the Haitian Creole is not an official language. It is.
So she's mixing up official language with international language. So here it says, international language or world language, the language used widely for communication between people of different native tongues, serving as a common medium in areas like science, trade, media, and diplomacy, with English currently being the most prominent example, though others like French, Spanish, Arabic, and Russian also function internationally, and constructed languages like Esperanto were designed for this purpose. I've never heard of Esperanto before. What is meant by international language? Language is widely used for communication across countries and cultures. That's what he's saying. I don't know why she's not getting this. I think because this is the ego thing that he's talking about. Like, this is a very Caribbean reaction, by the way. whenever you tell someone from the Caribbean something that challenges their traditional view, their immediate response is to reject it, and it's to go, oh, no, 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 no. And by the way, that is something that is observable as a Caribbean trait. I've been in many different countries. I've interacted with people in North America, Europe, UK, all over, and I'm telling you, like, they don't respond in the same way. There are cultures where it is much more a common for when they encounter information that goes against what they previously knew, they'll go, really? And they'll go, huh? And they'll say, tell me more. And they'll go, huh? They'll sort of go, and they'll lean in. We go that way. We go, no way. We go, that's not, nah, 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 nah. It's a very, very Caribbean trait. And I think that's why she's having such a tough time basically understanding this very simple. I've never heard anyone in my life say that Haitian Creole is an international language. She's not hearing him properly.
An official language in Haiti. It's not an international language.
Okay, well,
French is an international language. Chinese is an international. German,
yes,
English.
but that is for the Europeans. They've made it. Listen.
But I'm just quoting that.
How is it for the Europeans when y'all speak French? It's not just for the Europeans. Okay, the largest French-speaking country in the world is an African country, isn't it? Let me see which country is it. Largest French-speaking country. There you go, Congo. The DRC is the largest French-speaking country in the world. So no, French is not just for Europeans. French is for the French Empire, for everybody who France has conquered and influenced all this time. How is it that you're a democratic republic but you don't speak your own language? You speak in somebody else's language. You have this thing twisted, girl.
That. I'm not saying what I'm saying. I'm just quoting what is there.
But that does not mean that the Haitian Creole is not an official language.
I said it is an official language in Haiti.
Okay.
It is not an international language.
It's not an internationally recognized language.
Yes, it's not one of those.
Because it's not being taught.
Oh God.
Oh God.
I just
know, like, girl, come on. What are you doing? What are you doing? This is what you're proving his point about lack of capacity. Come on.
Yes,
Clarify.
because it's not being taught. Do
Why
you
are you annoyed?
do you have a Creole alphabet?
He's annoyed because you're annoying.
Yes.
No.
What are you laughing for?
Do you have a Creole alphabet?
Yes.
No. Do you have a Creole alphabet? Can you listen to the question before you answer? Do you have a Creole alphabet?
No, it's just
She
an
don't even
alphabet. We use.
No. Do you have a Creole alphabet?
They use English. They use the English alphabet or the French whatever to
The answer
start
is
a
no.
language.
No, but we use the
But
regular.
no. But I need just the answer, please.
No.
Okay. Whose alphabet do you use to write Creole?
The English one. The English alphabet.
Then why would you claim that the language is international when you're borrowing somebody's alphabet to write the language?
Because
that is a simple thing. That's what I'm trying to claim to you. No African language today on the continent of Africa has an alphabet. No black country has ever invented an alphabet. Am I lying? There are many things we are not taught in school. There are many things your ego have not allowed you to accept. Now you're going to even worry about if you haven't created an alphabet. That is why we are described as oral history culture. We started writing our language only when the colonials came and gave us ABCD, ABCD, Arabic, Spanish, Portuguese. May I go on break and allow you to see which African country has it?
Well, you just spinned it on me, so
That's correct.
I'm thinking about it.
No, there was a time you and I did it, and you quickly went and you came back and educated me. 19 regions in the whole world has ever invented alphabet. You knew it. You researched it, and you came and educated me.
Yes, but
okay,
hieroglyphics.
It's not an alphabet, please. It's pictures.
Yes, it is pictures.
Anybody can interpret that one picture in different people's language. The guy made a wing and a cloud. You decide what it says. I don't know what he saw before
It's
he did
open
it.
to
So it's not an
interpretation.
alphabet, please. Let's put
Okay.
that aside. So clear, you see, please, I am trying to solve problem for black people, but
Boy, Frank, you're really you're fighting the good fight, boy. Because I can't talk to people so long, dude.
the way to do it is to stop having conclusions and excuses. Is to begin to ask a lot of questions about who we are, especially when it comes to the creation of countries.
But also ask difficult questions. That's the problem. We don't like to ask. We don't like to confront difficult truths, and we don't like to accept challenging conclusions about ourselves. It's crazy. We're the only perfect people.
Africa today, countries were just handed over to people, something that they never created. Even the tribes who live in it would never in God's world ever see eye to eye. Here they are today, and they are trying to run that thing. And yet, they have never had in their history the concept of democracy, socialism, communism, feudalism. All these are foreign concepts.
Things like civic responsibility, for instance. I mean, a lot of Caribbean countries we don't have a sense of civic mindedness. People don't think about the fact that they live in a community and there's a certain type of consideration that you're supposed to have for the community in which you live. So you don't play loud music after a certain time of night. You don't throw trash over your neighbor's yard. You don't leave your dog out unattended so he could run and chase people down the road. Just like little basic types of things that we just do. Even that we don't have that most of the time. I mean, some people do, of course, not every single person, but generally speaking.
No black country has created an authentic political system that has a name. None. No black country on Mother Earth has created an economic system that is used today in somebody else's country. Never. But you've just embraced all these things, thinking that, oh, if they can use it, I can use it also. It's not true. We are causing our people to suffer because we are not sophisticated enough to understand that what we did was wrong. There is nothing honorable in asking for independence that you can't do anything with it. There is nothing honorable or valuable in asking for freedom. You don't have the foundation on which it can grow.
All right. I mean, so I think that's the gist of it. I'm not gonna watch all of it. If you want to check out the rest of this video, go check out Frank's channel. It's Zanu Project Rethink. There it is. It's a pretty cool vibe. Oh, I like where this lower third is placed. I might keep it there. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you are from the Caribbean or of Caribbean descent and you have a different perspective, let me know in the comments, and pick up yourself and keep watching. Check out some other video, hit subscribe, like, do something cool. All right, blessings, bye.